What's going on, people? It is Brian, Alsruhe, neverstate.com, and as you can tell, I am not at the gym, and the reason why is because our second building is being built. It's getting started today. I am beyond excited for that, but it's going to make this recording a little bit different. I don't really know how this is going to work out for the next couple of weeks when there's a bunch of construction equipment and all kinds of noise, but we're going to work it out, people. Do not worry. Now, it is August 8th, I think. Yeah, we're gonna go with the 8th because honestly, I really don't know what date it is. But you guys did an awesome job getting me the questions back in July, and believe it or not, I actually answered them on my computer back in July. Now, the only problem is that I got sick and I had that little bit of a contest, and to be completely honest with you guys, I am still a little sick right now, so hopefully I can get through all these questions without going into a coughing fit, and hopefully my voice holds out, but we're gonna find out. A couple cool things are coming up. I have a seminar with Kyle Bixler in PA on September 2nd. If you guys want to sign up for that, you can go to teambixstrength.com, sign up, come out, meet me, get some training in, hopefully leave better than you walked in at. Then again in Pennsylvania, I have another seminar coming up September 16th at Joey Satsmary's gym, and his gym is called the Lion's Den. You guys can sign up for that at lionsdenelitetraining.com. So I will leave both links to either of those down below. If you guys can make it out for a weekend, it'd be really, really great to meet a lot of you. And to be completely honest, these are two of the first official seminars I'm doing. So I don't know if they're gonna be good or they're gonna be bad, but either way, you're gonna have a cool experience. And I can guarantee you that you're gonna walk out a different person than you walked in. And I'm sure I will as well. So those are really, really cool. But for right now, we're gonna get in the Q&A questions. I'm gonna try to answer as many as I possibly can. Might need to split up 2 parts. Time will tell. See how much my little puppy brain goes on little rants, which is always a possibility. Let's get started. All right, so our first question comes from Brandon Jones, and he says, since you own a business and your wife owns a separate business, how do you guys balance work with your relationship as well as others such as family and close friends who aren't gym members? All right, brother, so this is something that is massively important, not only if you are a business owner or your spouse is a business owner or whatever the case may be. We live in a culture right now where everyone is constantly staring at their phone. If you go out to dinner, all that you see is entire families sitting together and everyone is on their phone or whatever the case may be. But people are being trained not to be present, whether it be when they're watching TV or they're reading a book or whatever. They're always thinking about other things or there's always a distraction. Most of the time, that distraction has to do with some sort of social media or email or computer or your phone. So my wife and I have a rule, and it's an unwritten rule. It's not like something that we stick to, but it's something that I started doing probably about a year ago when I started realizing that I was spending way too much time on my phone, and it was literally like I was living a separate life. I was with all of these other people, like online, like interacting with people on the YouTube or whatever the case may be, but I was there. And then my regular life kind of went on hold, and I was always kind of just an avatar of who I actually was because my mind and my engagement was always with something like my phone where people were texting me and whatever. So now when I get home, literally from the gym, when I get home, my phone goes in a completely separate room and I do not look at it. I don't pick it up. I don't touch it. If we are out somewhere eating or we are at a family event or we're doing whatever, my phone does not come out. It is either in my pocket or a lot of times I will keep it in my Jeep or away or I won't bring it with me or whatever, for the sheer fact that if I'm going to be somewhere, I don't get to spend as much time with the people that I love and care about as I would like to. So when I am there, I need to be 100% present there. And one of the best ways that I've found to do that is to get rid of that phone. Just put it somewhere else so that it is not buzzing or distracting. I don't know how you are, but the second that my phone vibrates one time, I get that little zzz. I can't stop thinking about it until I look at it. So I just like to keep it completely away, or I will stick it on airplane mode and keep it in my pocket, but I will not check it until my time with whoever is over. And I don't care how important or how big an emergency it is, it can wait. Everything can wait. So that is exactly what I try to do. I would encourage you to try to do the same thing. If you are a business owner or you're not a business owner, but it will improve your relationships drastically if you just get rid of that phone when you're with that other individual. Yeah. So there you go, man. I hope that answers your question. Thank you very much for asking it. And I was wrong. So Brandon had a second part of this question. He says, if you had time, what hobby would you take up that has nothing to do with anything with your business? So I would definitely become a wood carver or a stone carver. It is something I've always been interested in, and I have never taken up the time to learn how to do it, but it is something that I have the utmost respect for. When I see a very intricately carved piece of wood or stone carving, especially stone carving, I find absolutely amazing. It blows my mind. So it would be one of those two things if I had the time, which hopefully in a few years I will, and I will be taking that up. But thank you very much for asking, man. All right, next question comes from Brian Berkeley, and it is a technical one. So he said, in your deadlift video, you mentioned that you get your big breath before bending down and picking up the bar. If you're doing a set of deadlifts and you need to take a breath in the middle of it, when do you do it? So it is always at the top. So I get my breath before I bend down, I pick up the bar, and I get as many reps as I can in that very first breath. Typically for me, that's usually 2, maybe 3 reps, depending on how heavy it is. And then from there, I breathe at lockout. So when I stand up with the bar, you are in a biomechanical supported type of position. When you're down the bottom, the bar is being supported by the ground, so you don't have to support it. However, if you are all the way standing up, completely erect, that's why you can see someone pull a world record deadlift and then look at the crowd and shake their head yes, or say something or do whatever. And it's because you're supported. That is how your body is meant to support weight. So what I do is on rep 3, I will stand all the way up, lock it out, get a big belly breath, go down, touch, whether I'm doing touch and go or I'm dead stop, doesn't matter, I'm still holding my breath, and then I stand all the way back up with it. Rep 4, I will do the exact same thing. Once I'm at lockout, I'll get a big belly breath and drop in for rep 5, and so on and so forth, as far as you need to. But that is personally what has worked best for me, and that is how I'm the most supported, the safest, and I can get the most air into my belly, which typically makes me the strongest. So I hope that answers your question, man. Thank you very much for asking it. All right, next question comes to Tony Baki. What's up, Tony? And you asked a very controversial question that I probably would not have answered if it was anyone else other than you. But you asked, what are your thoughts on steroids? Do you think it's cheating? Have you ever been tempted to use them? So here's the thing. People make choices in life, and what people choose to do with their lives, if it does not harm me or someone that I love, I really don't care. Could not care less. I think steroids should be legal. I think if you're an adult and of proper age and you want to use them and you feel like that is something that you want to do, then I think you should be allowed to. And I think you should be allowed to go to your doctor and get blood tests done and do all the correct responsible things rather than trying to run around and getting needles from some guy named Joe at your local Golds. Now, me personally, when people ask if I'm on steroids or not, I don't say anything at all because it's a catch-22, and no matter what I say, I look like a bad guy. So I choose not to say nothing at all. If I tell people that I am using, then people are like, oh, you're a cheater. You would have never achieved anything without the steroids. If I tell people that I am not on, then people say that I am lying and that I am on steroids and I would have achieved nothing without them. So I choose not to say anything because most of the time when people ask about steroids, they have already made up their mind. It doesn't matter what you say to them, their cup is full. They have no more room for any other information. So a lot of times I just choose not to talk about it. What people are going to believe, they're going to believe whatever, regardless of what comes out of your mouth. Anyway, they've already made up their minds, so I choose not to engage in the conversation. But I will say this about steroids. Before you go claiming that somebody is or is not on them, and Tony, I'm not talking to you, I'm just talking in general here, but before you claim that someone is or is not, I would really take into account the amount of time that they've spent training. You really have no idea what someone has gone through until you stick yourself in their shoes. When I watch David Blaine shuffle cards and do a card trick, I am amazed. That is magic to me. Literal magic. That is like Merlin walked down from a mountain and with a staff and waved it around and a rabbit came out of a hat. It is absolute magic to me. But when you hear him talk about it, he spent thousands of hours on that one trick, sitting in front of a mirror all by himself. And since I look at it, I'm like, well, I'm not willing to spend thousands of hours to do a card trick. It seems impossible to me. And I think that's how a lot of people look at steroids. A lot of people start asking questions. Is that achievable as a natural athlete or is it not? I really don't think that's how people should look at it. I just think they should look at it. You look at somebody like me. I've got 23, 24 years of lifting where I literally have not taken time off. Maybe a week here, maybe a week there. Sometimes we're more intense than other times. But I've been lifting weights steady for 23, 24 years. A lot of you watching this haven't even been alive for 23 or 24 years, so how do you know what is achievable in that amount of time without having any frame of reference for it. Now, somebody who has been in the sport 23 or 24 years, when they say somebody is on or is not on, you can trust that opinion a little bit more. However, most people that have that much time in the sport don't really care that much. They kind of are like, you know, it's part of the game. There are going to be people who do it and people who don't. And honestly, whatever choice people make, it does not affect me, so I don't care. So I prefer that people look at it in that manner. Are they the David Blaine of the squat? Did they spend 10,000 hours on their squat so that now you're just seeing them reap all those rewards from all those years of hard work? Or is there something else going on? I don't consider it cheating, but again, I think it depends on what level you're at. If you're in high school and you're taking steroids to play high school football, then yeah, you're probably cheating, because I think the majority are not. In college, I think it could go either way, depending on what size college you're going to. In the NFL, I think if you are not on steroids, then you're probably behind the ball. And if you are competing in a strength sport at the very, very top echelon, maybe some people are not on steroids, but I would say the majority are, so I would not consider that cheating because it's just evening the playing field. It's just like Lance Armstrong. A bunch of people hated Lance Armstrong because he got caught blood doping or whatever he got caught with, I don't know. But the bottom line is every single person in the sport was doing it. So if that is the case, then I'm still going to respect the guy because it looked more like an even playing field than not an even playing field. Anyway, I hope that answers your question, Tony. Thank you very much for asking it. All right, next question comes from James Ward, and he wants to know, where can you buy good quality strongman implements like the yoke or the log? I've been wanting to try them since I first started watching your videos. Well, dude, I think you should absolutely try them. And you can pick up really good strongman equipment from Rogue or Beast Metals, or literally if you just search strongman equipment, Mike Bardos makes some good stuff. You can find all those things. Now, as far as cheap, none of those are cheap. Rogue isn't too bad, and most of their equipment is actually fairly decent. I do not like their logs, even though I have 2 of them. By the way, Rogue, if you're looking to sponsor somebody that will come in and help you rework those logs, I could be available. And to be honest, most of my strongman equipment is through Rogue, like my racks, my barbells, my axles, farmer's handles, the logs, prowlers, all of that kind of stuff is all through Rogue. I also bought my stone molds through Rogue, and I have both hybrid molds and Slater molds, and out of those 2, I do believe that Slater mold is a little bit better, but both get you the end result completely fine, and hybrid is a really cool company, so it's tough to not say good things about them. My sandbags are from Iron Mine, so if you search Iron Mine, that's where I have my sandbags, my loading pins, my Rolling Thunder is all through Iron Mind. But then there's also other stuff, like I have my circus dumbbells through, some are from Slater, some are through Monster Rigs and Cages, which is a smaller company, but they did make some pretty good dumbbells. However, there are 2 places where I've gotten equipment that I am completely happy with, and it's going to be your cheapest option out there, and you're also supporting small individual fabricators, which is something that I really, really like to do. I like to support small business more so than large businesses that don't really need that much support. So 2 of them. The first is from a fellow strongman competitor named Jeff Henderson Jr., and you can look him up on Facebook and message him. He puts out amazing equipment for very cheap, and he is an awesome guy, one of the nicest people you ever meet. So I would really appreciate it if you guys went and supported him. And then also on Facebook, if you search Pitbull Strongman Equipment, we got our 12-inch log recently from him, and I can be honest with you, it is probably nicer than the Rogue logs, and it literally cost a third of the price, shipping included. Excellent, excellent piece of equipment. I cannot say enough good things about it. So those 2 guys on Facebook, I would probably say will be the cheapest, probably easiest, fastest way to actually get what you want. But then there's also a ton of other good companies like Mike Bardos, Beast Metals. There's literally, if you just search Strongman Equipment, you will find a ton of people on there. But the 2 individuals that I know personally from Facebook would be Pitbull Strongman and Jeff Henderson Jr. Those 2 people do really, really good work for cheap. So I hope that helps you out, man. Thank you very much for asking the question. All right, guys, so there you go. Thank you so much to each and every single one of you who gave me a question. Hopefully, I got to your questions, guys. I just ran out of time. This is all that I got. And as you guys can tell, my voice is starting to fail too, so it's probably about time that I move on. If you guys would like to leave any other questions down below, I keep an entire pages document in my computer of good Q&A questions that I like. So if you want to leave any down below, absolutely feel free. Sign up for those seminars coming up next month. Guys, I thank you so much for staying with me. Until I see you next time, go out, do something amazing with your lives. Keep working hard, people. Be nice to each other, and I'll see you then.